Let's get into this one, gang. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well, right? The Yankees, obviously, they got their asses handed to them by the Mets yesterday. That's an unfortunate situation. That sucks. We know this, right? What are we going to do at this point? And look at the title. I mean, this stretches on you, Brian Cashman, not Aaron Boone. Um, Aaron Boone said plainly clear yesterday. He vented his frustration in his post game, and he said that they're playing some of their worst baseball. He did say this, right? You can get people asking him, "Don't call it a bad stretch. What are you going to call it?" That's what it is, a bad stretch of baseball. And I ask people a question. I'm gonna cut the bull. Like I'm gonna be straight with you there, straight with you today. Let's cut the bullshit. All right. There's no beat writers or channels that have people on the inside that know stuff that nobody else knows. Let's cut the bullshit now. Stop. Okay. This team, Aaron Boone has 26 people that he can deal with. Right. That's his wheelhouse. It's up to Brian Cashman to put forth a team that he could utilize. Okay. And, he's made a lot of moves recently that have not worked, unfortunately. And it might be time for him to step aside and give the opportunity to somebody who would be willing to do this. The fact of the matter is, we know now. Well, this is what we heard from. We didn't hear this from Brian Cashman. We heard this from beat writers, right? Good morning, gang. Keith, Mark, what's happening? We heard from beat writers that Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez are kind of available at the deadline in trades, right? We didn't hear from Brian Cashman, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. But if they are available, at least if you did say that, Brian Cashman, please back up your words and trade one of them. If you want to win this year, you want to maximize the Juan Soto years, you have to trade one of them to win. You want to get to the World Series, you got to trade one of them. You want to trade both of them, you got to get a boatload in return. We know this. Okay, with this, and we're all intelligent fans here, right? And we all have different opinions, but we're smart enough to see that this isn't working. Maz, what's up, brother? Right? We're smart enough to see this isn't working. So instead of arguing with people who claim to be know-it-alls and people who claim to be connected, let's just admit the obvious that it's not working, right? Cut the bullshit now. Okay, it's not working. And the fact of the matter is, this is not on Aaron Boone. This is on Brian Cashman. Okay? Instead of just arguing with people who would say the same thing every single day, fire Boone, fire Cashman, fire, without coming up with any better alternatives. Alex Cora is not going to be the manager. He just signed with the Red Sox to an extension, and good for him. You know what? When the Red Sox won the World Series last time, he taunted the Yankees afterward. Total dick move. Right there, I knew right off the bat he was never going to be the Yankees manager. Okay? That wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, fans are pissed. Fans are calling for heads too, right? But whose head right now? Boone is the easy, convenient one, right? To say, oh, he's managing. Who's going to do a better job? Who's going to take this team with this roster based on injuries, right, to the World Series right now? We have no idea. Okay? And what changed? Let me ask you a question. I asked this last night too. What changed? By the way, excuse me for missing last night. I was away on a business networking event last night, so my apologies there. But what changed? The only thing that I can think of that changed was when Giancarlo Stanton got hurt, the lineup went to shit. The offense went to shit. Before that, it was clicking, right? That's an obvious fact. So, what has changed with how the Yankees do things under Aaron Boone before the injury and after the injury? So I can't think of anything. All right, Charles, nobody's talking about Boone Love. You can cut it out now. You're gonna get out of here. All right, it's not Boone Love. I'm just keep your mouth shut and listen. Okay, talk less and listen more. Okay. Period. It's not about being a tough guy and a big mouth and blah blah blah. Okay, this is on Brian Cashman here more than it is on Aaron Boone. Right? Period. Anybody disagree? Say the word. Just tell me why. Okay. And when Stanton was healthy, and this is a problem, we know this. And the guy who we hoped to replace him, Jason Dominguez, also got hurt. So Boone is dealing with a lack of options right now. Do you think he wants to put Jahmai Jones and J.D. Davis out there? Not really. He doesn't have any choice right now. Okay. Alex Verdugo, What happened to him? He fell off the face of the earth. That's not Boone's fault. That's on Alex Verdugo. Maybe it's time to move him in a trade too. Okay. And pitching was good. Then it kind of fell apart. And then it's kind of the starting pitching's kind of finding its groove again a little bit, with the exception of the clunker that Garrett Cole threw last night. Okay. What choice, guy? What choice was better? Okay, we keep hearing this style. You took the bat out of Judge's hands. No, we didn't. No matter who's backing him up. We don't have the options here right now. Okay? You could put Ben Rice there, clean up. But this is the other problem, right? You fire Boone and you bring in some other manager, and the same thing happens. What are we going to do? We're going to go blame that manager and ask that other manager to be fired either? Right? So J.D. Davis is likely going to be DFA'd, and Jemai Jones is likely going to be DFA'd if they make some trades, and they absolutely need to make trades. Okay? And this is on Brian Cashman. He's the one who constructed this roster. You may not like Aaron Boone's press conferences. Nobody cares. I don't listen to him either. Well, I don't have to waste my time complaining about the same thing every single day. Okay? So what, Carlos, is your solution to, you say Boone is part of the problem, okay? Nobody's really denying that. Okay, could he do better? Yes. Who's going to be better? And who are you going to replace Cashman with? Out of curiosity. Okay. Yeah, I think, Keith, I'm with you. I think the Yankees need to go out and get a couple of big players. And now that we know, and again, I'll say this, we didn't hear this from Brian Cashman that Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones might be available. We heard it from a beat writers, right? So got to take it with a grain of salt. Okay, and we also don't know what kind of environment Cashman is dealing with either. So we could just easy to say Cashman's a terrible GM because we're dealing with other people who think it's that easy for him to go out and trade for anybody he wants, sign anybody. It's not that easy either. But the roster construction is on him. And it's a complete waste of time to sit here and trash him every single day. All right, this is a make or break deadline for the Yankees. This is Cashman's most important deadline, right? So they have 5 days now? It's 5 days until the deadline. 5 days, right? And again, yeah, Gerald, I don't even waste my time with the post games because the game is over already. And what happened? What's the difference between the post games when the Yankees were lighting the world on fire and since the Yankees have been losing? Nothing other than they've been losing with the same exact team, give or take one or two fringe players, right? Bench players. And the big thing that changed the dynamic was Giancarlo Stanton went down. Did we expect it to go down at some point? Sure. I didn't think it would last that long, to be honest with you. But he went down. The offense went to shit. We cannot deny that. This is an absolute fact. Nobody's opinion changes that, right? Well, who, Big Ann? Who from the Dodgers or Tampa to replace Cash? Who? Who did we know that's available? We have no idea. That's the problem, too. You have people just out there saying, oh, you can just replace. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to replace Boone, who does what Cashman wants, to replace Cash, who does what Hal wants. The pecking order is the pecking order. None of us know what the pecking order. None of us know what their, the bottom line is, right? None of us. So it's pointless speculating. That's why I don't listen to other channels when they go on this bullshit. Okay? The Dodgers have been punching us in the mouth for a few years, not getting the best talent. Well, we don't know yet, Murders Row. They haven't gotten him yet. Don't know yet. And what if they get a Rosarena and don't win the World Series? Then what? That doesn't guarantee the right. People were people thought that Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto was going to guarantee them the World Series. They're not there yet. It's still too early. There's 60 games left in the season. You never know what's going to happen. The Diamondbacks could unload and buy some guys like they did last year, right? So we don't know. We just don't know. Okay, and yeah, they have to get better in player development too. And keep this in mind with player development too. The Yankees pick when the draft comes around, and this does matter. Okay, speaking from personal experience too, when you're drafted in the bottom of the round, it's different than being drafted in the top of the round. The Orioles and the Rays, For a decade, they picked one single-digit picks. Jackson Holliday, Adley Rutschman, top one, number one. When's the last time the Yankees had single-digit pick? Derek Jeter? It's 30 years ago. It does matter. Okay? And again, and to your point too, John, yeah, it's a marathon. I'd rather they be going through this now than going through this in September. It's not fun going through it, no doubt about it. Of course, it's not fun going through it. Okay? There's no denying that either. Establishing no discipline, no kind. How do you know this, Michael? Are you sitting in the dugout? How do you know this? Because another channel says it every single day? How do they know it? They don't have anybody on the dugout or in the clubhouse. How do you know that? The players back them up, okay? We don't know. This is the problem. There's too much speculation. There's too much this chatterboxing going on based on incomplete information. Okay? I hope that they get a Jonathan India and a couple other players. I hope that it happens. We'll see if it does. There's still 5 days left. I don't know. And as we get closer to the deadline, it's going to get more stressful. This is why I'm going to go live on trade deadline day for like 8 hours. Hopefully, we'll have some good news that day. And hopefully, we'll get good news before that. Okay? See the same reactions and results, Michael. What with your two eyes, what reactions? Do you think Boone is going to trash his players in the dugout on live TV? Do you actually think that's going to happen? So where's this accountability thing coming into play? Yeah, they've been good lately, Democracy. With all those draft picks, they're now through the system, right? Adley Rutschman, Jackson Holliday, those guys are all top draft picks, Democracy. The Rays too, and the Rays have a superb player development program too. They're better than everybody, I think. That's hard to deny that. Deadline day is the 30th, Keith. The 30th. It's next. I think it's next Tuesday. We definitely need reinforcements to the bullpen and the infield. There's no doubt about that. Okay. They were 2 games over 500 last year. They're 82 and 80. They're 16 over 500 now. So they're way ahead of where they were last year. All right. And we don't know what's going to happen at the deadline. And we need Giancarlo Stanton to come back. And we need more bats on top of that. And we need potentially a starting pitcher. There's so much speculation out there that we don't know what's real. The only thing we do know is 5 days to the deadline. Michael, you're not. I didn't say trash players. Okay. You said there's no accountability. You could see it with your eyes. I asked you to show an example. Where's your examples? Don't try to put words in my mouth, dude. And I asked you. I didn't tell you. I asked you, Michael. Okay? I didn't say that. I asked you. This is where listening is important. These things, listening. I said, did you expect them to trash his players in front of and on live TV? That's asking. You keep saying accountability. What are the examples? What do you want him to do? I'm asking you again. I didn't say. I asked you, Michael. I asked you, do you want the manager to trash players? Okay. That's not defense. It's a question. You said it was a bad defense. I'm asking you again, Michael. Give me examples, please. Give us examples. Enlighten us, please. Okay? And this is why I ask people who come here with bullshit. I ask you, is this your argument or are you using someone else's weak ass talking points? I will ask them all the time, and I get crickets every time I ask. I don't care if you don't like it or not. This is why I get trolled by weak ass channels on a regular basis. I don't care. Okay? I'm here to defend the team. Doesn't mean you can't call out when it's justified. We do that too here. But I don't spend my days trashing people, and there's not a need for it on this channel. I'm not saying people have to do it either. I never say that. People get pissed off at me when I don't trash people, when I don't trash players. Okay? Someone you don't know, get out of here with that, dude. Get out of here with that. All right? Get out of here with that. I'm sitting here waiting for you, Michael. I'm here waiting for you. Take your time. So write what you want to write. That's how we roll here, K2. There's too much trashing from other channels. I don't do it here. I know I piss people off when I don't do it. And I'll say this again. I'm not going to trash somebody if they're not here to defend themselves. I'm not going to do it. That's unfair. It's unprofessional. It's immature. That's a small dick move, okay? Whoever said that before. And yeah, people are right to be fired up right now. Sure. I get it. And there's a way of going about it. And I do it differently than other channels. I don't want to be like the other ones that trash them every day. I don't. Okay? Gerald, is he available? I don't know. If he is, it might be wise for them to look into it. You hold players, yeah, exactly, Mazzy. You can hold them accountable by benching them or trading them, right? That's it. Joe Girardi had a problem here when he came here because he was trashing the players to their faces, certain players, and doing it and arguing with beat writers and stuff like that. This is one reason he wore out his welcome here. Yeah, he won a World Series. He also had the core four here and the biggest free agent splash ever. Boone never had that. This is the first time he's had a roster this good. Okay. And people are using this, this is not a championship roster. They weren't saying that when they were lighting the world on fire in the beginning of the season. What's changed? One of their key offensive players got hurt. Do they need to make reinforcements? Absolutely. Yes. If they're 35-23, that's 95 wins for the season. I actually predict them to win 95 games. That's also 13 more than they won last year. That's a pretty good improvement. Okay. See, to your point here too, Donald, defending Boone doesn't. How do you know he doesn't motivate anybody? Why does his team have his back on a regular basis? He's gotten thrown out of more games than any other manager in baseball, defending his players. Do you expect him to be Vince Lombardi in the post games? That's for pre-games. That's for the players. It's not for the beat writers. So we don't know. We can't. This is just assumption. He doesn't motivate anybody. And these guys are grown men, not children. They're paid millions of dollars to do a job. They don't need him to motivate him. This is their job. People seem to forget this blatant fact. Okay? This is their job. And we don't know. We're going on speculation. No, he doesn't do great post-game reports. Everybody knows that. But his post-games weren't different when they were lighting the world on fire in the beginning of the year. They were just winning more games. Right? Take pitches by order when required. Swing away by order of manager. Bench players don't follow manager orders. And you know that they're not doing this how, Michael? And you remember, keep in mind the lack of options they have. So when you bench somebody and you have nobody to replace them with, what are you going to do? Keep that in mind too. Some of the key guys, would they be benching Torres more? Yes, if John Birdie was here. That's obvious. Okay, should they have kept Yorvin Vivas up? I think so. I don't know why they didn't, because he was like 3 for 25 since they brought him back down. That's not a Boone thing. Boone doesn't call up guys and send them down. He does what the higher ups tell him to do. We may not agree with it, but that's the way it is. This is the problem. We don't know. None of us know what's going on in the dugout. None of us. So it's all speculation. This is why I don't waste my time trashing people, because we're doing it on incomplete information. It is an absolute waste of time. This is why I don't do politics on this channel, because it's pure propaganda based on bullshit to fire people up and get people angry at the wrong people. Okay. Yes, Richie, they stand up for Boone on a regular basis. Aaron Judge does, Garrett Cole. Yes. Yeah. Openly. Okay. Alex Verdugo even thanked him for letting him be himself. Alex Cora from the Red Sox did not let him be himself. Now I don't know what happened to him in terms of offensive production. He's fallen off the roof, so off the face of the earth. So they trade him. They trade him. Don't know. Don't know. I don't know what about his sliders last year. He won a Cy Young Award last year, so he had a success with everything. Yeah, Chaim Bloom, I don't know. And again, anybody that comes in here and does assumes the GM role is going to have to do the same things that Brian Cashman does, whatever those roles are that we don't know about. He has multiple hats that he wears. They're going to have to do the same thing. He's been benched a few times, but again, is Oswald Peraza up here to replace him? No. Is John Birdie up here to replace him? No. Yorby Vivas up here to replace him? No. Okay. You get some depth here. This is probably why. This is why they want to bring in more infielders, at least two of them, so we can eliminate this problem, Murderers Row. Right? When you discipline, dude, I'm a martial arts instructor. Okay, I deal with black belts all the time. Okay, discipline. I understand discipline. I understand how to take it and how to deliver it. Okay, depends on how you discipline. And again, we don't know. And the fact of the matter is, these guys are paid millions of dollars. And when you make 10 times as much as the manager, do you think you're going to have the manager's ear, or he's going to have your ear? Look at NFL. Look at NBA. How often do they listen to the head coaches? They're always fighting with the coaches. So this is what we're dealing with, bad information here. Okay, we don't know what type of discipline's being. We don't know, and what type of discipline he's allowed to deliver. And again, these are not children; these are adults. Discipline's different. He can't dock their pay. Their contracts are guaranteed. It's not like a regular job. I'm going to dock you for a week's pay. It doesn't happen in baseball. Okay. Trades will keep the players on edge. That you want discipline? That's Brian Cashman's wheelhouse. That's Hal Steinbrenner's wheelhouse. Okay. That's discipline too. Girardi did wear out his welcome. Donald, it's okay to be honest. Nobody's attacking you for being honest. You speak your mind here. You never get blocked for speaking your mind. Never. Well, yeah, democracy. I would hate to see Spencer Jones and Dominguez go too, because essentially, I mean, Spencer Jones is considered, I mean, like another Aaron Judge. Wants Dominguez is considered to be another Juan Soto. I would love to have two sets of Judge Sotos here. I would love that. We'll see if it happens. I don't know. Well, this is the other thing too. Owner shifted the blame off himself. This is the type of stuff that happens all the time. Okay. And Cashman's not pocketing money either here. And people think the Yankees owners are just swimming in money. That's not the case. Not the way you think it is. Okay? Revenues is not the same thing as profits. No, it's not just Stanton. It's a lot of the guys. And again, this is why they try. This is why they need to bring more guys in here for your trade, right? That's one way to replace players. That's what the deadline is for. This is more on Cashman than it is on Boone. Boone is hamstrung by a lot of this stuff. LGD, the deadline is next Tuesday, the 30th. We see it too, Michael. Okay? You need to open your eyes and close your mouth a little bit. I see it too. Your vision isn't the only one that matters. We see stuff too. Everybody's vision matters. Demon D, what's up, man? Yeah, well, Torres has been benched, and looks like he's going to get traded. Okay, and when you don't have the players that are healthy to replace him, what are you going to do? And we don't know if Boone is being forced to play Gleyber Torres to try to increase his trade value. We don't know, right? Nobody's asking him that, and maybe he's not allowed to tell him that. So we're going again. I'm going to go back to speculation. We're going on a lot of speculation. Okay. Well, yeah. Like trashing people is not. You're not going to get anybody to listen to you. I'm just going to tune you out. Okay. Not going to get somebody to respond better by trashing them. Scooble's contract. Scooble has 2 more years after this year. He's a free agent in 2027. So essentially, if you trade from now, it's for 2.5 seasons. Major League Show snake draft. Yeah, peanut. Yeah. Rizzo and DJ weren't. Yeah, they're also older. They're like 10 years older than everybody else. Not all. And that's one reason why Ben Rice is up here, right? And the other thing too is DJ is a 10-5 player. He can veto any trade. So is Stanton. So it's not easy to trade him. He has to approve a trade and waive his no trade clause. You can't just be like, no, you're being traded. It doesn't work that way. This is something that's built into. This is what the CBA does, right? They build in multiple layers of protections for players that GMs cannot overrule, that managers cannot overrule, that owners can't even overrule. Okay, this happened. This is part of it. So DJ, to me, I've said this repeatedly over the last several weeks. At this point, DJ would be wise to be a bench player. If he's going to stay here, be a bench player. Mentor some of the young kids. Back up some of the positions. Okay, especially if you bring in 2 infielders, right? His best position now, and same thing with Rizzo. I've said repeatedly too, that there's no better mentor for a guy like Ben Rice than Anthony Rizzo while he's here. These guys are both pros. They're vets. Use their skill set and their intangibles in a valuable way. That to me is the best use of them. I don't think the Yankees are going to exercise. There's a team option on Rizzo next year. They're not going to exercise it, so he can walk in free agency. But when he's back here, he can He can mentor. He's in the dugout already. He can mentor guys like Ben Rice, and DJ can help mentor some of the young kids as well. Okay, and I'm telling you this. Speaking from experience too, the Yankees are loyal to a fault, right? This we know. Hallam, Cashman, and Boone, right? To a fault. I know it pisses a lot of people off, but certain players appreciate that. They're not going to just bail on them. Loyalty does matter, just like character does. Okay? It's not what a lot of people like to hear, not what a lot of people do, but it is what it is. All right? Yeah, stupid lack of hustle. Yeah, and again, one of the problems, I'll say it again, is the players that would be the right ones to back them up are also hurt. I would love John Birdie in here to be playing instead of Gleyber Torres right now. even though Torres hit home runs in the last 2 games. Whoop-de-doo. Doesn't make up for the year, 2 year, multiple years worth of bad defensive lazy play. We know this too. Doesn't make up for it. Yeah, John. I got through to his players. Listen to him, talk to him, communicate with him. Now they haven't won a World Series yet either, but they've been to one. And he also has a star-studded lineup and a GM, Dave Dombrowski, that's not afraid to gut the farm to try to win a championship like he did in Boston. He's got a ballsy GM, super ballsy GM. No, you're right, Mazza. It might not be a popular topic, right? What happened to this? Might be. I would sell a farm, but sell some pieces on a farm. Yeah. And people keep saying, "Well, prospects are prospects; they're just prospects." And why doesn't the same apply to Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones? We'd love to have them here, yes, but if you can get major pieces, that's what you have to do. That's what we're hearing too, Daniel. Stanton is returning. It sounds like he's returning in Fenway. You see the games like we see, Michael. You don't see what's going, the conversations they're having in the clubhouse or behind the scenes. This is what we don't see. Okay, and being on the field is a different view than watching it from TV too. Completely different. Speaking as a former baseball player, it's completely different on the field than it is watching on TV. The game goes in a much faster speed on the field, much faster, and reaction is even less. And you have to be quick to it. And as you get older, that reaction time gets worse. Huh? I don't think we got swept by the Orioles. We lost. We lost the first series to the Orioles. 3 out of 4. We won this past series. Yeah, we split series with the Orioles right now, Mariners row. Yeah, this is what we're saying too, Pino. The one they have is not working, and the problem is we don't know exactly what their strategy is. So we're going based off of all the stuff that everybody else is saying, none of which have an insider in the clubhouse, in the dugout. Nobody does, right? So what's in front of us? The trade deadline. This is an opportunity for them to replace some players, move on from some players. This is what's in front of us, guy, right? And it would be a good idea, and I think a lot of Yankee fans would agree that the Yankees would be wise to make some trades. And I would not wait until the deadline day, but it looks like universally that most of the teams are waiting because we don't know the prices yet. And again, with the expanded playoff format, there's 2 extra teams in the playoffs, and we have over a dozen teams that are in contention right now. Less teams are going to be selling pieces. Those teams are going to become buyers. So you have less stores to shop from, essentially. That needs to be factored in too. Who said it's analytics, Michael? You're not good at. I never said it's analytics. You're not good at putting words in people's mouth. I would stop now, dude. I never said analytics once. Yes, his players have his back. Again, there's shit that we don't know that they do know. It's a waste of time doing politics. This is a baseball channel. There's other channels that like to shove politics, who love to troll people, love to harass people on Twitter with political bullshit. Go right ahead. I don't need to do that for clicks and for subs. I'd rather keep, this an adult situation here. Right? We're grown-ups here. Period. And again, politics is essentially trashing people that aren't here to defend themselves. That's the definition of coward. This is why we don't argue much when we don't have when other people when none of us have the facts. It's kind of pointless arguing to a degree. You can get to a certain point, but after that, if none of us know the facts in front of us, then what's the point of arguing about it? Yeah, Verdugo's in a terrible stretch right now too. Quite a few of them are in a terrible stretch. There's no doubt about it. And people are now pissed off that Aaron Boone is saying they're in a terrible stretch. What do you want me to say? Yeah, I didn't agree with that either, guy. I didn't see the point of bringing Vivas up to not play him. I don't. I don't. I don't know what if that was a front office thing. I don't know, but it that sucked. You know. Yeah, Keith, you're right. You're absolutely right, man. And this is what I'm saying. Fans are pissed off. They have every right to vent. But like I say this a lot. If we're going to vent, let's vent on the right information, on the facts, right? This is on Cashman more than it is Boone. I know people say fire both. Fine, keep saying that. Go right ahead. I hope Verdugo gets it back soon too, because he is a talented hitter. I don't, you know, this is why I think Stanton needs to come back, and they need to add bats so you can move Verdugo down in the lineup where he belongs a little bit more appropriately. Just like Volpe, they're better in the 6 and 7 spots. Let's just say you get a Jonathan India. Let's just say he can lead off to set up Soto Judge or Judge and Soto, whatever the order you want, right? And then you need somebody at the 4 spot to drive them in, to protect them and set up Judge. So that it's harder to pitch around these guys, okay? And to Stanton too. You don't want to face Stanton with 2 or 3 guys on base, especially when he's on. No. This is why you have to put these pieces in the beginning to make it impossible for them to pitch around people. They're not there now. The 1 and 4 spot to set up the 2 and 3 and to protect the 2 and 3 on the other end are critical, and the Yankees don't have either right now. And Ben Rice is not ready for it yet. He's a good, talented kid, yes, but he's not ready for the 4 spot yet. You take your time to text him, Michael. You take your time to text. I'm watching it. Sometimes the scroll goes fast and I miss some of them. I'll go back. Hey, Jennifer, good morning to you too. How are you? Hein Bloom's we don't know who's available. That's the problem, right? We don't know. That's why we need Cashman knows too that he needs to beef up this team, right, Clemenza? Dude, I mean, yeah, if Steinbrenner's calling the shots, then that's what's going to be. Like, we don't know. And people can keep saying he's different than his dad. I understand that, but his dad made his fair share of mistakes too. Okay, legend or not, he made his fair share of mistakes too. Okay, Kim Eng, see, she's an interesting one too, Joe. I don't know what she's doing now. She was Cashman's assistant here with the Yankees before Derek Jeter hired her as the first female GM in baseball when she became the GM of the Marlins. I don't know why they moved on from her. Well, they did. The traditional sense, like again, a matter of opinion. Matter of opinion. Okay, we have a lack of options here, Murderers Row, that seems to be going over so many people's head. When your backups that you could replace the starters who aren't hustling with are also hurt, then he's dealing from a lack of options right now. And that sucks, Murderers Row. That sucks. There's no denying that. We all know that. But again, that's a fact that nobody seems to want to acknowledge. When you have guys like Bird, like the backups, Giancarlo and Jason Dominguez, are all hurt, right? And injuries are not an excuse; they're a fact. Jason Dominguez went to the trainers and said he was hurt. They didn't just put him on a Phantom IL for 8 weeks. He went to them. It's a fact. And yeah, exactly, Mazza. He knows his make or break. No doubt, man. No doubt about it. Dude, yeah, man. I mean, that's a great way of putting it. We have 2 aircraft carriers and 7 paper. That's a great way to put it. That's a fantastic. I like that analogy. We need. That's why I keep saying we need a good table setter at 1. We need a more productive, even if it's a contact, even if it's Cody Bellinger, right, or somebody like that at 4 spot. Ryan McMahon from the Rockies. I don't know if he's available now. It sounds like he's not. But even if it's one of these Rays guys, right? Isaac Paredes or what's the other guy? Yandy Diaz at the 4 spot. One of these guys. And then Stanton can be 5. And then when Volpe can be 6, Verdugo can be 7. And now your lineup is 1 through 7. Now you have some more protection on that aircraft carrier. Because again, it's far too often it's a 2-man show, Judge and Soto. They need protection. Scuba would definitely be a massive add, but you're going to have to add a Dominguez or a Jones, and you have to be okay with that. Like that's happening. I mean that would happen, right? That has to happen. Stanton, we're hearing, is coming back in Fenway. So now that they're heading to Fenway for 3 games against the Red Sox, he's according to what we're hearing, he's going to meet the team over there. All right. And this is perspective here too. Thank you, Clemenza. When this Halstein runs at the helm, that's what they expect. I mean, like Aaron Boone is not the again. He's not Vince Lombardi. Nobody ever said he was. But wordsmithing post game conferences doesn't really change the performance on the field. How he communicates with his players is different than how he's going to communicate with beat writers who ask the same question over and over and over again. But they keep saying the definitions of insanity, right? Say that to the reporters too. We keep asking the same question. And you expect a different answer? Come on. Griping about budget. Yeah, the Yankees have $100 million coming off. And he said the Yankees don't need a $300 million payroll. And to a degree, he's right. But they've got to be more efficient with how they spend the money. We all know this. We all know this. But again, the Yankees are also dealing with a lack of options. Not everybody wants to come here, so you're going to have to overpay players sometimes. This is another reality, right, that people don't like to acknowledge, but it's true. What's the convenient response? Brian Cashman's terrible. Boone's terrible. That's the convenient scapegoat response for so many people. Okay? Yeah, Michael, that happens to players, even the top players. Barry Bonds grounds into double plays. Like, and maybe saying like Judge the day before that, Judge struck out looking with guys on base. It happens even to the top guys. Keith Stanton's supposed to be coming back in Fenway, so they're going to Fenway now. He's supposed to meet the team there. That's what we're hearing, the reports. So Kim Eng, if she came here, she came here. If she did, she did. Good for her. Michael. Yeah, you got to do better than that. I didn't say he was Lombardi. I said, are we expecting him to be Lombardi? No. Okay. There is no manager that does Vince Lombardi. Not even Bruce Bochy. You basically have 3 or 4 managers, and everybody else does what ownership tells them to do. Think about that in baseball. In major leagues, that's the way it is across baseball right now. Right? That's the way it is. CT cards in the building. Yeah, well, exactly. Saying he's worse than Stump Merrill. Like, let's get real. Come on. Stump Merrill's a nightmare. Yeah, I mean, the only problem I have with this, Daniel, is like if you put in a substitute runner, then Stanton has to come out of the game. So, I mean, analytics probably has a part, and we don't know. This is the problem. Like, Yankees rely on analytics a lot. Yes, the analytics department needs to be reshuffled. Yes, but there's only so much we know, and so much we don't know, right? Yeah, George Lombard is way far. So isn't Roderick Harris. Those guys are still at least 3 years away. Yeah. There he is, the shift. My man Joey from the shift. I hope they can turn it around too. Yeah. Like, this is Cashman's make or break deadline. It is. And again, the convenient answer is blame Boone every day. But there's only so much he can do. But then right now they are looking like a two-man team. Yeah, they need to look. I said like that's back 2 and 3. We need 1 and 4 in the lineup to be better. And when Stanton comes back, it could be 5, and then Verdugo or Volpe and Verdugo can be 6 and 7 if they don't trade Verdugo, right? But we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what they're going to do in the next couple of days. Yeah, I mean, I just want to say nobody not saying. I mean, we don't know either. That's just what we're hearing, right? Hey, let's. Wells has been pretty good. Yes, he has, Joey. Yes, he has. I like Austin Wells. I do. Which is why I think Jose Trevino should be tradable, just like Nestor Cortes should be tradable. I do. Yeah, and there were Yankee fans and Met fans were apparently brawling in the stadium, like the concessions and all that stuff. Yes, I saw some footage. People listen to a lot of talking points who think that it's that easy for the manager to manage these highly paid players, right? It's in New York where you're dealing with a hornet's nest of reporters, you're dealing with multiple hornet's nests. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. Okay. Well, Renjifo's he's a one solution, but he's not the only answer guy. It has to be Renjifo and like a Jonathan India or something like that. We need. It looks like we need 2 infielders and probably 2 relievers and probably a 1 starter. So multiplayer trades might be a good idea for Brian Cashman to investigate. Yeah, Joe, we keep hearing this from some beat writers who don't play baseball, and we keep hearing it peddled on some channels who don't play baseball. He's a bad catcher. I mean, he's been a first round pick from the University of Arizona in 2020, right? They drafted him in the first round based on his full time play, and so if he plays here on a regular basis, I'm confident that he's going to put out that type of production that he did in college. He's been platooning with Jose Trevino for the last couple of years since he's been up here. Well, last year and this year. So, Nestor I'll take Brendan Donovan. Joseph, you all right with Brendan Donovan for Nestor? Ideal trade targets, I think it's multiplayer trades. Like if you're going to trade with the Angels, you try to get Renjifo, you try to get one of the relievers, and you try to get Tyler Anderson, one of their starters, if you can. Right? If you're going to trade, you try to trade for Tarek Skubal, you try to get one of those infielders that come from the Tigers as well. You try to do a multiplayer trade, right? So India and Candelaria, I don't know if they're available. We're hearing that India might, but I'm not sure if Candelaria. One of the things that they said that the Reds were not looking to sell rentals. So I don't exactly know what that means, but I'm not sure if India's got 2 more years beyond this year. I don't know. I don't remember what Candelaria's contract situation is. Yeah, I mean, he's platooning now, guy with Carlos Narvaez, right? So who's another good defensive catcher? Boone's only managing the team. Can he do certain things better? Yes, we acknowledge that. This is not we're defend Boone party all the time, but we're gonna place we don't waste our time looking people to blame every time we get on here. That's not a productive use of our time. Okay, other people might do it. They're welcome to. Scuba. Well, one of the things, guy. I mean, I said this the other day. The Orioles and the Dodgers, neither one of them has a pitching prospect in the top 100. They have multiple offensive prospects. The Yankees are the only team, and you can add the Rays to that list, Tampa Rays. They're the only team of the four that has a pitching prospect in the top 100, Chase Hampton, to go along with multiple offensive players, Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez. So maybe that's the reason why they're still in the conversation for Crochet and Scooble. Can't say that it is, but I'm saying maybe that's a reason why. And again, they're probably asking for Jackson Holiday from Baltimore. So I don't know. We don't know. I don't care about Louis. Louis said we're under control all he wants. You're not going to win a championship with the Mets. So bye. Yeah, Daniel. I mean, we drafted 14 pitchers 2 weeks ago. So I do think Hampton becomes a trade piece for somebody big. I wouldn't be surprised if Will Warren gets traded either for like a Jonathan India or like one of those players. John, hey, this is probably Cashman's last deadline. If he doesn't do something significant here, then his job is probably on the chop block. Yeah, Torres. It's time. It's time for the Torres and the Yankees to have a parting of the ways. Nestor Cortez has trade value. I don't know what Verdugo has left, but it might be time for a change of scenery for him too. But I like the swag that Verdugo's brought here, and he's connected well with the players, and they like each other. So that's a good thing. We'll see what the Yankees can get. I mean, the expectations sometimes are through the roof for the Yankees. They expect the Yankees to get like 7 players, and like no team gets 7 players. So JD Davis was just a move to fortify the bench with a lack of other bench options out there. I could see him, Zach, being DFA. As soon as they trade for an infielder, he's probably going to be one of the first guys to go. Him and Jemai Jones. It doesn't make sense to keep either on this roster once they bring in new players and once Stanton comes back. These guys are like holder pieces, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think the only way Torres gets traded is if they, what do you call it? They bring in trade for an infielder or two. Doesn't make any sense to trade him otherwise. Verdugo is in his walk year. Yes, he is. Well, that's why I'm like Wink. That's why you trade Nestor to the National League, so we don't have to face him on a regular basis. No, that's why I say the same thing with Dominguez and Jones. If you're going to trade him to a division to a team that's not going to compete instead of trading him to the Tampa Rays where they can murder us for the next decade. Right? There's a lot of holes to fill. Yeah, and unfortunately, injuries are part of it. The holes aren't as significant once Stanton comes back, once Birdie comes back, once a lot of our reinforcements in the bullpen come back too. Doesn't mean there are no holes anymore, but the holes are less significant when the reinforcements do return. But they still have holes they need to fill in positions. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, that wasn't going to happen though, unfortunately, because Miami was averse to trading Arias' contract. They didn't want to pay him, and Torres makes more than Arias, so they definitely were not going to trade Torres. And you would have to give Torres and multiple prospects for Arias just to make it feasible for the Marlins to even consider. And probably have to eat half of Torres' contract as well. I don't know if they want to do that. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to trade guys to the Rays, have them turn into complete superstars there. No, thank you. Dan, you sign me up for that. I would send Cortez to the Marlins. They need catching prospects. They need, and they could probably trade a starter. They're probably going to trade a couple of relievers too. So Cortez would add some pitching depth to them. hmm Miami is a logical trade target, I think. So are the Angels. Miami and the Angels probably represent the best trade fit teams. So, and I doubt it. Honestly, I doubt they're going to get Michael King back in a trade. He's pitching well for the Padres. I hear you, Jennifer. Like the only way I can see them trading Dominguez if he's part of a trade for like Mason Miller and Brent Rooker from the A's or some crazy trade like that. Like, otherwise, I see him also replacing Verdugo in 2025. Probably being a starting left fielder there. It's hard to imagine any move when you have so many people saying they're not going to make moves and so many people saying how bad they are. So yeah, it creates a cloud of doubt and a cloud of, just negative energy all the time. FJR. So I totally get where you're coming from. Zay Rodriguez catcher, some said, is a great prospect that Miami should be interested in. They need catching prospects. I mean, Augustin Ramirez. I mean, you've got some. The Yankees have 5 catchers on the 40-man right now. That's significant. They do. So, well, exactly, FJR. I mean, it's just, we keep hearing this is not a championship count. Like, the Yankees said that in February, not July. Okay, and the people keep using this talking point as their argument. Like, you gotta come up with something new. Gotta, stay up with current events here, guys. Mm. Interesting trade for Luis Angelo Acuna, the number 1 prospect for the Mets. Well, I mean, I wouldn't move Volpe for him, but second base, but you'd have to give up a lot for him, Gerald, most likely. But I'm not averse to it, especially if he's not far and he's got tons of years control. I'm not opposed to it. Good outside the box idea, Gerald. Mm. Yeah, I'm a little bit more fired up today, by the way, with my responses. So, because we're dealing with endless bullshit arguments. I don't know, Crater. We'll see. I'm not speaking for Cashman. I'm not speaking for Hal. I'm not speaking for Boone. And no other channel is speaking for all the fans either. No. Pilar. I mean, maybe. This is like, they could trade Verdugo in a package for, I don't know, a reliever or something. I don't know. We'll see. We need them to make moves. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We need them to make moves, right? So, and this is, let's see right now, just out of curiosity. I'm just looking to see if any moves have come out right now. If anything at all has happened in Yankee land. I'm looking right now. Nothing here. Not saying it will, but I think they're a pass on Gio or Show, honestly. I would rather get what's his name, Andy Ibanez or that other guy from Detroit over Gio. What the heck's his name? That other player, Matt Vreeland. He plays, I think, third base and outfield. I'd rather get him over Vierling. I'd rather get him over Gio. Vierling, Skubal, and a reliever, that's a different story. That's a different story. Dude, that's how we do it over here, Steve. You may not like it, but I'm not going to feed people propaganda and bullshit just to fire people up. I'm not doing it. So people can be pissed off at me all they want, but they're going to get the facts. That's it. But I appreciate that, Steve. Thank you. Mark Canna. Bellinger, as far as I know, is back, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get traded or not. No, I would pass on Mike Trout, unfortunately. I love Mike Trout, but I would pass on him. And I think the Yankees need to do like legitimate, obvious upgrades at positions. Honestly. That's what I think. Bellinger did, but I think, let me see if they activate. He did have a fractured finger. He got hit by a pitch. Let's do a status check on Cody Bellinger. Yeah, it says here that he's looked like he's returning for their road trip. So it looks like he'll be back any day. Um, I'm a hard pass on Chad Green at before. Like if they're looking for him instead of other guys, I'm a pass on it. I would rather try to get Scott and some of these other relievers first, and then if Chad Green is available, then I would go. You know, it would be he would have to be like the second or third pick, in my opinion. He's not my first pick, Chad Green. I like him. He's having a good year, no doubt about it. But he's and he does have an option for next year too. It's expensive though, but so I'm not putting him on the burner just yet, the sign burner just yet, Brandon. So, but I'm not a hard pass on Chad Green. Yeah, Diaz. I mean, well, that's the thing too, John. Like you would trade a lot for Bellinger, but you would have to trade with him knowing he can opt out after this year, and that the trade return you'd send them has to be accordingly, right? It has to fit. Like he might opt out, so I can't give you a boatload of prospects for him. Can't do it. Well, Jennifer, I mean, unfortunately, I think there's a couple of things. Like none of the GMs are making big moves yet, right? And one of the problems I think we're dealing with is we don't know who's going to be sellers and who's buyers yet. There's too many. There's a lot more teams that are in contention this year that weren't last year, and it's going to change the kind of calculus of who might be available. And who might be available might be a part of a smaller pot, but the prices are going to be much higher for these guys. And I think that's creating a problem. This is why Scooble's not traded, Crichette's not traded, like Mason Miller, like none of these guys have been traded yet. None of them to any team because you know, we don't know how much they're going to cost. But the fact that we're hearing that Jones and Dominguez are available, makes me think that they might be serious. The only thing that'll make me think that they are serious is if we hear from Cashman and they are actually get packaged in a trade. Then you'll know they're serious. But until then, we got to go. We're going by what beat writers say. I mean, if the Nationals become sellers, you can do a trade with them, Brandon. Yeah, I would look at Kyle Finnegan for the bullpen as well. I think we're waiting. William, I think we're waiting. It looks like we're waiting for the prices to be established. Don't know how much it's going to cost, and we don't know who's going to become sellers and who's going to become buyers. The sellers have all the leverage. Like, you want our guy, you got to pay premium for it. Like they have all the leverage right now. And I think teams are waiting for teams to decide whether they're going to become buyers or sellers. We just don't know yet. That sucks. That sucks. Scooble and Flaherty, yeah, I mean, Scooble would be fantastic. I don't know if it's possible though, but he'll be fantastic. I think he'll offload Davis. I think DJ's going to stay here, but I think he'll be most valuable as a bench player. He's a 10-5 player, so you can't trade him without him waiving his no trade clause. That creates harder a scenario for the Yankees. And that's not something that's just a rule in baseball. Once you become a 10-5 player, you've been in the majors for 10 years, the last 5 with the same team, you can veto any trade. And he's hit that threshold now. Brent Rooker, I mean, if you're going to go for Brent Rooker, I would try to get Mason Miller too. You would send him Verdugo because Brent Rooker would play the outfield, he'd be blocking Verdugo. So, and I would say if I'm going to send Verdugo, I'd rather send him to the A's, where they're going to be terrible, and send him to the freaking Tampa Rays or the Houston Astros or something like that. They can just murder us, And then I don't see another team wanting to trade for DJ. That's the other problem too, guy. Yeah, I think he'll get 2 pitchers and 2 bats. Who? I don't know yet. I don't know. Rooker's more of a DH type, but he can't play some outfield. So my guess is he'll alternate with people. My guess. I don't think the Mets are going to trade Alonso, even though I think they should. The Mets are probably going to try to become buyers here. By the way, they've been playing. And again, that's just my opinion based on what we're seeing, but could be wrong. All right. Lane Thomas, he's another versatile player, yeah. So you're bringing up some good options here, guys. So it's good. They never sign Alonso. He doesn't play first base, so they have more prospect right. Clifford is projected as a big-time power hitter. Yeah, I mean, my guess if they trade Alonso, it'll probably be to Seattle or Houston. It'll probably be to the American League. I'm saying McMahon. McMahon is like we're hearing that he's not available now. He got reassurances from the Colorado GM and front office that he wasn't going to be traded because he's got a 4-month-old. He doesn't want to re up his whole family, even though he's making tens of millions of dollars a year. Really wouldn't matter. But he's been my first pick, McMahon for third base for weeks now. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, handle guy. Yeah, Mason. I mean, Mason Mill is not my first pick for a reliever. I'd rather get Tanner Scott and Andrew Nardi from the Marlins or like some of those guys. Yeah, I do agree. Probably one pitch away from Tommy John. I'd hate to give up. I'd hate to give up all top prospects and then miss him for like 2 years or a year and a half because he's coming from freaking Tommy John. That would suck. Yeah, it's just nonstop. Yankees getting nonstop, but it is what it is, right? But you should hit the like button, gang. If anybody hasn't hit that like button, please hit them like buttons. I want to try to get to 100 likes if we can. It's always greatly appreciated. I thank you for it, as always. This is a little bit more fired up live stream today. Okay, and the reason why I do is because I I push people to kind of expand their thought process. Or if we're going to be pissed off, let's be pissed off at the right information, at the facts, not talking points, right? So we keep hearing Jazz, and now I'm hearing that the Yankees have concerns about Jazz Chisholm fitting in the dugout, which is why I think Jonathan India's name has been brought back up because he is known as a great clubhouse guy. So he could also be a leadoff hitter just like Jazz. So, mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Tommy John's like, oh my god, Alec Thomas. If you could pull off that train, might be worth considering. Well, that's the thing. Like there's and this is the problem, right? Pissed, sick, and tired. I get it. The Yankees. I mean, they're still 16 games over 500, and they're not losing any ground to the Orioles, who keep losing. The Red Sox lost 20-7 last night from the Rockies to the Rockies. So the Yankees have been lucky these last couple of weeks when they're losing a lot, but the Orioles are losing a lot too. The Orioles have not pulled away. So this provides the Yankees an opportunity here to add some people to try to change that. Nothing yet for Patrick. We just know that he's might be available now. Dominguez. That's all we're hearing. Um, Jason Schmidt. You mean Clark Schmidt? I wouldn't trade Clark Schmidt. I would trade Nestor Cortez. Um, and mine has been everything. Well, there you go, Gerald. Thank you for the intel. Yeah, I mean, guy, this trade deadline is probably Cashman's biggest in his career as a Yankee GM. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Right? So we'll see. Moy was pitching like Berger. He might be. I don't know if he's available, Joseph. I don't know. I really don't know. If you can do a multiple, like I think the Marlins and the Angels are probably the two teams you could do multiplayer trades with, and I would not be surprised if they did that. But again, like, yeah, I saw that Nestor's apparently on the block too. Um, I heard that too on Twitter as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Same to you, Corey. Have a great day. And I'm gonna wrap this up in a second too. Um, yeah, if you can get that like this, and do what we're hearing that the Dodgers are trying to do, you pick up Kopech and Luis Robert and Crochet. Yeah, I mean that would be crazy. And if I'm gonna give up a Jones or a Dominguez, that's the type of package I want to get back. Yeah. No. Well, it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens in these next 5 days. It's gonna be stressful too. There's no doubt about it. So we can keep unleashing our frustrations, absolutely. And I'm not gonna block you being frustrated and not agreeing with him. I'm never gonna do that. Okay. And like, I'm never gonna troll other channels and all that stuff either. So Yeah, I don't know about Patrick. He won the Cy Young Award last year, so I mean Cole's behind, so it looks like he's trying to work on some pitches right now, and he's still behind. See, now he didn't even have a full spring, so that's unfortunate. And without that clunker yesterday, I mean Cole needs to get better the next couple games. Um, I would honestly, TV Butterbutts, India leadoff would be great, but if you can get India and a Renhefo, that would be nice. Or India and Yandy Diaz in the Rays, that would be fantastic too. So you know, yeah, yeah, no. They're kind of like the Rays. The Rays keep losing players, and they continue to win games. Brewers, same thing. It's like a crazy dynamic, Joseph. It's ridiculous, but that's baseball, unfortunately, right? But then, I mean, yeah, again, hit the like button, gang. Please, before you leave, hit the thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. We always try to get 100 in these live streams. So the Yankees are looking at Jameson Taillon, Patrick. Yes, them and the Red Sox are apparently looking at him. I would shoot my sights higher, but if you have to sell at Jameson Taillon, it might be worth investigating. So, yep. Yeah, we'll see what happens, gang. But I'll keep you updated no matter what. So I want to thank you all for coming on. And I appreciate the feedback and the comments. This is a live lit discussions. I thank you so much for your feedback. And again, I will be live for like 8 hours on trade deadline day. So please join me, and we'll see what happens. We'll ride through this hornet's nest together. But Luke Weaver's a great swingman, though. And when I reported that Luke Weaver signing, people were telling me it's a dumpster dive, a dumpster dive, dumpster dive, dumpster dive. It's crazy. No, George was definitely a more vocal um, owner than his son Hal Bucks. There's no doubt about that. George Big Mouth got him in trouble sometimes, but it is what it is, right? So, Patrick, I would love to come to Ireland, man. And I'll toast you with a Guinness too. We could cheers up together and enjoy a nice lager together. That sounds good to me, Patrick. Shout out to Ireland. Ireland's in the house, baby. But that's what we got today, gang. Have a great day, everybody. If anything comes out today, I promise you'll get it. Peace and love to all of you. See you later.